What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about the Super Nintendo on Nintendo Switch. Now, you guys, if you've been subscribed for a while, know that one of my most requested features for the Nintendo Switch is some form of virtual console, or more backwards compatibility, but specifically, I really want stuff from the Super Nintendo, just because this console has so many great games and cool adventures that are very hard to find and track down. Like, just this cartridge costs about $100 to $150 now, and I think that people should be able to just buy it online and play it for cheap, specifically on their Switches. Well, some hackers have started going through the code of the Nintendo Switch online service to try and figure out what could be coming next. Up until now, they've been releasing either 2 or 3 games every single month for play. Just by having the online service, you can play NES games. But up until now, it's only been that. Original Nintendo Entertainment System games. Nothing else, and I'm okay with that, but I've just been constantly wanting in the back of my head to see some Super Nintendo stuff show up. Well, hackers have actually managed to really go through the code of what may be upcoming and have found a list of 22 games that are for sure about to come out. Now, I'm going to read them real quick, but here's the thing. Let me put on my fake reading glasses. These are in a very strange order, and I'm actually going to read them in this order because this is the way they appear in the code. This is not edited, they're not alphabetized, this is the way they're actually inside the code already of the Nintendo Switch. So this could end up being the release order. So what we end up getting is Super Mario Kart, Super Soccer, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, which is a freaking marvelous 2D masterpiece, Demon's Crest, Yoshi's Island, Stunt Race FX, Kirby's Dream Course, Poppin' Twinbee, which is very strange, we'll get into that in just a second, Star Fox, Contra 3, Kirby Superstar, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Kirby's Dream Land 3, Super Metroid, Super Mario World, Pilot Wings, F-Zero, Star Fox 2, which the hacker himself thinks is funny, Super Punch-Out!, The Legend of the Mystical Ninja, Super Mario All-Stars, and Breath of Fire 2. Now, what's really peculiar about this list is the way that they're put in together. This list order is very strange. If this ends up being the set as they're released, it's a little bit strange because it's so all over the place. I would assume that they'd start off with Super Mario World because that's what was packed in originally with the Super Nintendo. I would think that that's what they'd start off the service with. But what else is really peculiar here is some of these games were never released in America, like Poppin' Twinbee. This was translated into English, but only released in Europe, and also, of course, Japan. So, if this turns out to actually be released in America, it will be the first time we ever have access to it. What does this mean? What could it possibly spell out for the future? Now here's where I want to get into a little bit of speculation, because along with digging up these 22 games, the hackers also managed to track down what seems to be additional emulators. They found 4 in total. Now each of them have different code names, but normally that's pretty typical. Obviously, if you're a big giant billion-dollar company, you're not just going to spell out your secrets. But we found 4 emulators in the code. They found the NES one that we already knew existed, obviously. We found the SNES one, which doesn't really exist yet in a playable fashion to us, but is in the code, but 2 others that have very mysterious names, and nobody knows what they are. It could end up being a Nintendo 64 emulator and maybe a GameCube emulator. Because, keep in mind, a lot of people have already been experimenting with cracking open the Nintendo Switch and making it run GameCube games. And what's peculiar is, it seems like it could be made for it. Now this is obviously some pretty big speculation on my part, just some educated guesses, but I don't see why Nintendo wouldn't put this stuff on there. Now, what's really interesting is, we still don't know for a fact if these games are going to be part of the Switch Online service, and therefore be free, or where access to by the monthly service fee, Or are these going to be part of a standard virtual console? I have a feeling that virtual console, the way I personally like it the most, I have a feeling that's dead, and dead forever. And instead what we're getting here is basically just them trying to make it where everybody wants to have the Switch online service for all of eternity. I do think that it'll probably increase price at some point, especially if they're trying to roll out Nintendo 64 games, but it's hard to guess what exactly all this could be. I guess what I'm really hoping for the most is Nintendo to try and give us more of the games we want. Their back catalog of games is easily better than any other company out there. If I could actually have older Smash Brothers along with stuff like Super Mario Sunshine or Skies of Arcadia Legends all on one system, I would absolutely do that. Now, I guess my only real concern is that they continue to release them at the incredibly slow pace they have been. Now, the Switch Online service, for better or worse, it's trying. You can tell that they're doing their best in a way, but I do have a problem with the fact that they keep just releasing 3 games every month. 3 games every month is such a snail's pace. If you have this many games built up, give us 5 games a month, or maybe give us 3 NES, 3 SNES, and 3 N64 a month. 9 games is actually not a huge deal, especially because they're coming from such separate catalogs. And really, I mean, what, 3 a month over the course of 3 years, 5 years? That's still not hundreds of games. You could easily just keep dipping into your own catalog. Okay, some months will have 2, some months will have 4, but I'm still cool with that, because we're going to get more options, more retro stuff to play. The whole thing about this situation that really gets me the most hyped is the idea that we could be seeing more games that never officially came out in America. I mean, that's kind of what's strange, is that having things like Pop and Twinbee on there, it really spells out the fact that Nintendo doesn't really care about, well, the normal lines. They don't care about region locking. They want to just sell you any game they can. So what if they start actually bringing out the stuff we really want? A translation of Clock Tower on Super Nintendo, or you know, Mother 3, which, for those who don't know, is basically Earthbound 2. Now, that's something a lot of people have been speculating on because of the fact that there is no Earthbound on this list. It's making a lot of people start to theorize that perhaps they're going to be releasing some sort of translated Earthbound trilogy, which has all the Mother games on one cartridge, or maybe put them all on the online service in one day. Because think about it, it would be great. I mean, you know, if we end up getting Mother 3, which was on the Game Boy Advance, maybe the 4th emulator that we found is actually a Game Boy Advance emulator. I mean, I'm kind of just overhyping myself right now because the potential is unlimited. Who freaking knows? If we end up getting Game Boy Advance games, I'd be excited. GameCube games, I'm excited. Nintendo 64, that'd be great. But what's really important here is to make sure that we're getting different stuff. I would really love to see more games that never came to America get a chance. That way this is actually appealing, in the same way that the SNES Classic Edition was extra awesome because it had Star Fox 2 on it. I would love to see all these games finally get a chance to flourish and get attention here in America. And I also think if they're all included in the same monthly fee as the Switch Online service, more people are going to be trying them. More people are going to actually install games that they may have never heard of or even knew existed. It's just really a chance for more people to be ultra geeks like me, expanding their horizons, trying more weird RPGs and stuff. It's so freaking rad. Nintendo, please release this soon. The fact that it's already in the code makes me think that it's probably coming out in the next 30 days, but come on. At the very least, just do a shock announcement. Do a teaser trailer that just says, coming soon, and we see like a Super Nintendo actually like sliding into a Nintendo Switch screen. Something like that would be so great. But really, roll it out. Do what you gotta do whatever pace you gotta do, just give the people what they want. And then put Advanced Wars from the Game Boy Advance, the old Fire Emblems. I'm sorry, I'm getting myself too excited because there's just so much that we need to get. The old Fire Emblem games, I mean just the old Fire Emblem games that never got a chance to come to America, I would love to play those. Okay, well, before I just explode my brain with excitement, I'm going to go play some Super Nintendo. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. You know, I think I have some of that let's drink some of this Fallout rum to celebrate. No, I'm not. This stuff tastes like tanning lotion. No, I'm not going to drink that. I'm having a good day. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.